Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about something that sounds scary but is actually pretty super cool, right? Which is higher order functions and lambda expressions in Kotlin. And I will be just very honest with you that when I first heard higher order function, I thought it was some advanced math thing, but no, it just means that a function that takes another function as a parameter. That's it. It is as simple as that. So let's just break it down step by step. So what is basically a lambda expression? So just think of it as a function without a name. Instead of writing a whole named function, it is basically an anonymous function. So you just write the code directly, basically logic directly, inline it, and then assign it to the variable. So in Kotlin, a lambda looks like this, something we can say. Those curly braces are your lambda, right? And the stuff before the arrow is your parameter, and after the arrow is your logic. It is clean, right? Now let's take a look at higher order function. So it is a function that takes one of these lambdas as parameter. So instead of hard coding what to do with two numbers, you let the caller decide at runtime, right? So it is super flexible here. Okay, so let's just jump into the code and I'm going to type this out so you can follow along. So here's our calculate function. As we can see here, it takes two integers a and b and then a third parameter called operation, and notice the type of operation. It is a function type. It says basically that it doesn't care how it is, right? That's up to the caller. Then we have this add and sub, which are storing them inside variable. These are essentially functions, but I can pass them around just like any other value in Kotlin. Then what we can do is, okay, right? So we have val product here. So this is my favorite Kotlin trick, that when the last parameter of a function is lambda, you can move it outside the parenthesis. It's called trailing lambda syntax, and it basically makes the code look super clean and readable. So no separate variable is needed, just write the logic right here, right? So now we have fun calculate. We created this, then a variable add and variable sub. Then we created variable sum and variable difference to calling the higher order function. And what variable add and val sub does is that it is a lambda expression as variables. And in val sum val difference, we are just calling the higher order function, right? Then this is the trailing lambda syntax, which is a kind of a Kotlin magic, right? We have val product and calculate. We can see it here. So basically, as I said, it is a trailing lambda syntax, and when the last parameter of a function is lambda, as you can see here, so you can move it outside the parenthesis. So that's it. Let's quickly recap what we learned today, which is a lambda is just a random, or what we can say that it is an anonymous function which you can store in a variable. And on the other hand, on the other note, that we have a higher order function that accepts a function as parameter. And then we have that you can just pass lambdas directly, or what you can do is that you can use trailing lambda syntax when it's the last argument. This is one of the concepts that once it clicks, you will start seeing it everywhere in Kotlin. And modern programming is basically, it is a foundational steps to learning. So just practice it, play around with it, and if this helped you, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment if you have any questions. I read every single line. So see you in the next one.